Welcome everyone, thanks for being here today. I really sincerely appreciate everybody taking time, especially on a long weekend, to come out here and join us for a very special moment in my life and in all of our lives. The opening of our official campaign office for the 2019 federal election. Thank you all for being here. You know, this federal election is coming really fast. It's faster than all of us think. It's actually only 52 days away now, about that. And you know, for people here in Sault Ste. Marie, I can tell you, that's not coming soon enough. When I knock on those doors, people are telling me they want the election right now because they know that this government has made it more and more difficult for them to make ends meet, and they want change right now. And we're ready, we're able, and we're willing to provide that change to the residents of Sault Ste. Marie and Northern Ontario, and I'm happy to be a part of it here with all of you today. You know, for the past 17 years or more, I've dedicated my life to public service, to serving this community, to serving every person in this community, and I intend to continue doing that for this community as we move forward, and I hope to do it with your support as your Member of Parliament starting on October 21st of this year. Now, when I knock on these doors, I've been to thousands of doors in Sault Ste. Marie, thousands of doors. I've spoken to thousands of people over the last few months, and some of them are coming in here now as we speak. I've spoken to thousands of people, and they tell me many things. I can tell you that they share their problems with me, and there's no greater responsibility that a person has, a leader in this community, there's no greater responsibility you have than when someone chooses to share their problems with you and ask you for help with those problems. I've been doing that for 17 years, and I intend to continue doing that for every person in Sault Ste. Marie as we move forward. They tell me that they find life has gotten difficult. Things are just unaffordable. The cost of living is rising, and they just can't make ends meet. They tell me that they're ready for a government that will live within its means, and a government that will act ethically and with integrity. They tell me that they're concerned about the environment and they want to protect that environment, but they don't understand how charging a tax will help us get there. Well, I can tell you, I don't understand that either. And I don't understand how we have a government that refuses to live within its means, and how we have a government who has pledged over $73 billion, who has added over $73 billion to the national debt, but hasn't started infrastructure projects for 3.5 years. We have a government right now, unfortunately, who has pledged to start with small deficits, minor deficits, just little deficits that would help our economy. We know now that that didn't happen. They maxed our credit cards, so to speak. And what did we get for that? What did we get in return? Well, you tell me, where are we? Is anybody better off? We're not better off than we were 3.5 years ago. So where did that money go? Well, $12 million went to Loblaw so that they could buy new fridges. And billions of dollars went to buy a pipeline that hasn't been built, while at the same time lecturing on us on why we had to pay a carbon tax. Justin Trudeau and Terry Sheehan want you to pay more to drive to soccer practice. They want you to pay more for groceries. They want you to pay more to put gasoline in your car, and they want you to pay more to heat your homes, even with winter coming a few short weeks away. A Conservative government this October is going to help you make ends meet. We're going to start by removing the carbon tax from everything. And we're going to follow that up by removing the GST from home heating and energy costs. For us in Northern Ontario, almost nothing could be more important. If you're anything like me, friends, if you're anything like me, you know that June 12th was the day this year that I still had my heat on because it was that cold in Sault Ste. Marie. And a few short weeks later, we're here today in August, and I could have had my heat on again today. So these taxes don't work. They don't help us, and they don't help the environment. And then we have things like NAFTA. How important are our international relationships? Well, you only have to take 2 steps out this door and look to your left to know how close our largest international trade partner is. It's 2 minutes away, and every one of you has probably spent 7 minutes driving from your front door to that bridge. And in fact, we had the luxury of spending some time on that bridge this morning and looking over this great landscape in our great city. Now, nobody knows better how reckless Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have been on the international stage than my friend Aaron O'Toole, who's here to join us here today. And nobody, in my opinion, will bring more of a common sense approach to our new federal government than gentlemen like Aaron O'Toole and Andrew Scheer, and that's why I support gentlemen like this and people in our party who are intending to do the same thing. So there's no one better to hear from than Aaron O'Toole on these issues. I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about these issues.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back in Sault Ste. Marie, a very, very special place. I have a lot of friends from the Sioux who take the Sioux with them wherever they go. There's such a pride in this community. And when my good friend Sonny, you know, I've been pushing him for several years to run for office, and I said, if you run, I'm going to come and help. What Sonny said is we were on the bridge today. He didn't tell you we were on the top of the arch of the bridge, strapped in wind-like hurricane conditions. In fact, he told my team, when Aaron gets here, we're going to do a bridge walk first. Now, I knew the International Bridge. I said, oh, there must be a little trail at the side of it. Then they had us put harnesses on. So I've already said to my staff, it was not exactly a bridge walk. But what an amazing experience where I'm standing there with the next member of parliament from Sault Ste. Marie, and he's pointing out the entire Algoma, where they get power, where their raw materials are, talk about trade, talk about the impact of tariffs from hundreds of feet above Algoma. I've done a lot of plant tours and things in my day, but never anything quite so innovative. So thank you, Sonny. I'm here on behalf of Andrew Scheer and the Conservative Party because we have exceptional men and women stepping up to run for us, to run to try and get our country back on track. And I can think of nobody I'm more excited about and the team more excited about than Sonny Spina. And I don't say that everywhere I go. You can check the tape. Before you leave here, I want you to check some of the news stories his team posted on the wall there. Here you have someone running to represent you in the House of Commons who not only wears a uniform of service for this community, and as a Canadian Armed Forces veteran, that's how Sonny and I really first became good friends, is that shared uniform and that shared commitment to service. You have someone that for the last decade, whether it's as a Rotarian, whether it's charity drives, the United Way, the 100 Men of Sault Ste. Marie causes, no one has Sault Ste. Marie in their heart as much as this person. That is the type of person that you want in Parliament, who knows the community, who knows the challenges, and some of the people that the 100 Men and United Way and all these causes help, but also know the resiliency and the amazing opportunity that people from the Sioux represent, and that our industries here represent if they're properly served by government and their representative. There's an MP here that has not been a voice. There never should have been steel tariffs on Canada. The longest trade partner with the United States, the only country in the world with a shared security partnership on homeland security. There was a Canadian on duty on 9/11. They didn't talk security with the United States, even under Obama when Keystone XL was canceled, when the one-way relationship between Canada and the US started to erode. And then under Trudeau and the progressive agenda, he was talking about things like climate change instead of steel, auto, and softwood lumber.
Yes.
We see this pattern around the world. We have countries like India. Do you remember that trip? If you don't, I've got some photos on my phone to show you. China, where we have 2 of our citizens who receive half-hour consular visits once a month and are in a jail cell with the lights on 24/7, while the Chinese citizen in Vancouver lives in an $8 million home on bail. We've lost billions already in trade with that country, but many others as well. The Philippines, India, Saudi Arabia, China. Did you know Italy has tariffed durum wheat from Canada? Now, the only reason we can explain for why that happened is Justin Trudeau compared returning ISIS fighters to waves of Greek and Italian immigrants. He made the comparison, returning people that had gone to fight with terrorists to previous waves of immigrants from Italy and Greece. Not only was that an insult to Canadians of Italian and Greek background, those ambassadors write notes back to their country They're here to report on. And some countries don't come up every day in the House of Commons. So when the Prime Minister of a country makes flippant, erroneous, in fact insulting remarks like that, you see countries respond. And Durham wheat is a major export. It's actually one of the big innovations in agriculture from this country. That was one way that one country responded. We've seen China, India, the United States. The list is long. And I'll tell you, it's been virtually silent from most of the Liberal caucus. They're so beholden to Justin Trudeau and his brand that they don't speak up for the interests of their community. And in this case, we know the story in the paper about how Terry got some FedNor investment money for jobs in San Francisco. We shouldn't be surprised because the Atlantic Canadian Opportunities Minister for Atlantic Canada, helping grow jobs there, is from Mississauga, even though the Liberals have all of the MPs from Atlantic Canada at present. So this is the degree of disconnect. This is the degree of disrespect. They actually show important parts of the country, like Atlantic Canada, like Northern Ontario, that has unique needs. And if you have passionate, knowledgeable, committed members of Parliament to bring those unique needs, bring that voice to Ottawa, things happen. I was very proud that today the customs facility we saw in Canada was opened by my friend, the late Jim Flaherty, my neighboring MP, who's not with us now, but we're still seeing in this community some of the amazing investments from the last Conservative government. So I could go on. The one last thing I'll say, and I want you to think about this, when you look at all the amazing stories about Sonny Spina, his commitment to community, his commitment in uniform, his integrity, his honesty. He's running to be your representative. Right now, our representative as Prime Minister of Canada has made 5 apologies on behalf of all of us as Canadians. He's made apologies for incidents that took place before Canada was created as a country. He apologizes for the actions of strangers, but he won't apologize for his ethical breach in the SNC-Lavalin scandal. His own conduct, now 3 times, he's been found guilty of violating ethics laws as Prime Minister of Canada. 3 times in 4 years. And with the Jody Wilson affair, we know 4 women, his top 2 female cabinet ministers, resigned. He may call himself a feminist, but certainly his record doesn't indicate that. He won't apologize for his own misconduct. So, what can people in the Soo do? You don't vote in Montreal, so you can't vote Justin Trudeau out. But you can vote in somebody who lives and bleeds Sault Ste. Marie, who has a passion and commitment to the people here, who will be an honest voice with integrity. Your next Member of Parliament, Sonny Spina.
Amen.
Good?
That way once.
Okay.
This is the slowest cut in history.
All right.
All right.
Got it?
Snip away.
Okay.
Snip away.
I'd like to
There
There we go.